Yes, we are here. We are here. We are here. And we are very welcomed. And we say this with somewhat humor because it was us truly that have prompted these series sessions. So we are happy to be able to assist with something we have prompted the vehicle to be able to organize and orchestrate.
Well, thank you. We do appreciate it. Subconscious, can we do a body scan, please, for the vehicle?
Mm-hmm. Yes, she is in truly balance and harmony. I mean, she has been for so long, but she always wants to put a little bit too much pressure on herself. And that is her choosing. She uses her free will, sometimes interestingly. But we often give her so much healing, and she is working in this state and energy so often, so frequently. She really has nothing to complain about.
Fantastic. How's the body feeling right now?
Like she is, we will say, like she is champagne on a beautiful beach.
Sounds lovely. That's great.
The vehicle is saying that's not, she doesn't have the taste for champagne, so she doesn't get the reference. But that is fine. We will relax the mind and speak with you directly as we are pushing aside her worries and concerns about what does champagne taste like.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Subconscious. We do have some questions today, and we're wondering if you can assist us with this.
Yes, indeed you do. And yes, indeed we can.
Okay, thank you. Subconscious, which dimension are you currently residing in?
There is many of us. And we are speaking to you from the 9th dimension. However, we have got assistances to be able to support this conversation today with much higher collectives who are watching us as we are watching you.
What is the highest dimensions that are assisting today? Just curious.
We see that there's members that are already within the source collective. And so we drop the labels as we drop our bodies, and our essences become souls, true forms of souls when we become truly source. And so there is many aspects and essences. We're wanting to remind the vehicle that when you start getting fixated on dimensions and where one resides, you can almost become limited.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about that?
Well, we could tell you that the vehicle is listening and saying she gets our point. She then is wondering if she's making mistakes with her assumptions, that she needs to label and define so many things such as dimensions. But we are, with much love, reminding her that there is so much aspects to all that she is curious about, and to just have open-mindedness as you are learning. While you may need to learn to have focus and use labels, that is fine. But know when you have outgrown the labels that helped assist you with your fundamental and foundational understanding to what she calls the metaphysics.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. Subconscious, our next question is, from your perspective, in terms of the shift, what does shifting to 5D mean for humanity?
Yes. It means that on a collection of many days and many events, humans will be shifting from this dimension to another dimension. And this will be done all together, but not at the same split moment in time as you perceive time. And so humanity will be shifting from what you are currently residing at, which is in the third dimension, and you will be gaining much more higher perspective in mindsets and in physicality as your bodies evolve swiftly, graciously, and with ease.
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about that?
This is a term that has been bastardized by many, as they have lazily assumed that the shifting is just merely a state of mind, a state of consciousness. And we say, where is the rest? Why are you not able to, with your spiritual egos, broaden your horizons, broaden your expansion of information? Oh, this must trigger so many when you are so scared to see the bigger truth right in front of you. We're not trying to offend, but it is not time to play small, quaint games of mindsets and only being mindsets. It's all around you. It's obvious what your bodies are doing, what your planet has been doing. And while you're so focused on labels and terms and following fake limited influences, you've not noticed the current situation that your planet is in. It's all around you, and yet you choose to distract yourselves with celebrities, fake wars, destruction, hatred upon each other, judgment. We see this. While we do not judge you, we wonder, how on earth could humanity feel so comfortable and proud of itself when the majority are so fixated on such limited, dense perspectives? But that is part of the experience. And while it's not our cup of tea, shall we say, it clearly is many beings' cups of tea, as they love that density, love the dramas. Some of us view that as very tiresome, but for some, they love the challenges and exploring. It's almost like they would never have enough. They've always got a thirst and a quench for the dynamics of the physical realms. And for some of us, we couldn't imagine anything almost as worse. But that is our choice, so please respect us. We're not trying to judge you. We know many of you have come down there to be able to be of service and assistance, and we applaud you. We applaud you because you are such advanced souls. And it's so tiresome when you feel like you're trying to encourage and cheerlead and help assist humanity, while humanity is tuning you out, not listening to you, not respecting you, and looking at new gossip and distractions and focusing more on that than their own spiritual growth, their own spiritual evolution, their own family and friends.
Yeah. Thank you. For the next question, subconscious, I would like to ask, what is the term old Earth referring to? Is this still a future event humanity will experience?
Indeed, as we said before, you will not shift all in the same one split second, and it's stagnant stages. And so you must see for your own eyes the decline, the health decline, the physical physicality. We're struggling. One moment. The physicality of the planet. Once you start seeing it break down, it's starting to decay. What you would not perceive as decay, you would just assume it's just a mini series of unfortunate events. But when you have to start seeing and living and noticing this rapid change, you'll start being more aware of your surroundings, less focused on your phones, more focused on surviving. And so the old Earth is the decline of the physicality of the body, of this planet you are residing on in your physical bodies.
Yes, thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add with that?
As you know, with any physical death of a body, it does decay. And so for us to explain to you all of the nuances of every part of the body that starts collapsing, and without the energy supporting it, as we start focusing more on the evacuation of this planet, you will notice things rapidly declining. But it is like saying you're watching a dead body. What is the most significant things you would want to notice about it when you're looking at the entire body? We could talk about all the nuances and all the locations and how they're going to experience things. So when we try to talk to you, we know all of this, but we're trying to give you the most appropriate information for you to brace yourself emotionally, trusting all is well, all is purposeful. You've asked for these experiences to be able to help assist humanity at this time, and you'll do it well.
Thank you. So I'm conscious, is there going to be any type of event right before the old Earth, or an event that will start the old Earth?
As we were referring to, there are many events that will be occurring, but when you are on the official old Earth, you are already currently on the official old Earth. You're on Earth, and it is old. And so when would you like to start your labeling and your branding of your experience? Many of you will need such bigger events to occur for you to be able to think, right, this must be the moment. And so it will be obvious for many and subtle for others, because it won't be in their direct location of certain events. You may not be in the path of the distractions, and so you may just hear it on the news or something else. And so each individual being will have a different experience of what is happening, because you're in different locations around the world. It is going to be a more challenging, focused way of life. And as this may shock you to hear, some people actually flourish and thrive on the survival experience, because it takes them out of their mundane routine. There is so much to be said, but as you may have heard, prepare for everything, because potentially everything must unfold and occur for people to notice and accept the state of your planet.
Yeah. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about that?
It was shortened. We did plan and have great hopes that this planet's survival rate could have been much longer. And we say this for the soul of the planet, and not so much for the souls and the experiences of those who are on this planet. You are merely visitors to her, and we see the greatest soul, which you call Gaia. We have been supporting her life experience, her life contract. And while you're having your merely fleeting multiple lifetimes on this beautiful vessel that you call Earth, nothing could have prepared us for the behaviors and the use of free will that took upon this planet, that drained her of her life forces in the third dimension. As you are aware, She had planned to do such marvelous things, and she will be able to do that. She will always be granted the vehicle is having a reaction to the emotions. The reaction was this. When we were saying to you that the soul of this planet will always be granted her life contracts and wishes as she wants to experience certain things, such as being planets, she'll always be granted approval and permission to be able to obtain a new planet, to be able to evolve from the third to the fifth. And the reason why the vehicle got the extreme, overwhelming feeling is our love for God. And so she's having a physical reaction to it, so we will relax her into it. Please continue with your questions.
Okay. Thank you for helping her relax. We just asked for much relaxation. And how is her body going right now?
Her body is very well. It is very balanced and in harmony. It is her emotions that will get her into trouble.
Love is a very strong emotion.
Our love for your planet soul is tremendous and profound because she has been of great service, not just this lifetime as being Gaia, but she is so precious, like you are all so precious. But as you can imagine, we have seen so much tragedy happen to her, so much hardship. And while it was done to her, her free will was taken from her in some regards because she had her life contract cut short in this third dimension. And while she is completely fine and marvelous, and while we could say she is that champagne on the most beautiful beach in the world herself, living her best fabulous life, we are still so dismayed of people's choices, humanity's choices to be so neglectful, to consider others, including this beautiful soul that you call Gaia.
Yes. Yes, really great reminder. Mm-hmm. This actually was answered in a way. However, I would like to still ask the question. What is the life contract for this planet's soul in terms of shifting to 5D?
Originally, it was to be able to evolve naturally and beautifully here onto this planet and to be able to advance itself energetically into the fifth dimension. It was going to be brilliant. And as we discussed, this has changed. And so she is now able to simply slip into a new higher frequency planet where she will be able to enjoy having her fifth dimensional experience that way. And we see that while she enjoys all of that lifetime that she will live being that new planet, that new earth within that soul of that new earth, we will see that she could potentially have a walkout experience when she is ready to then go into a new third dimensional planet and then be able to have her complete cycle that way, where she experiences the experiences of the lessons, where she gets to experience a more in balance and harmony third dimensional life as a physical planet. And then she wants to graduate and evolve into a fifth dimension and explore that physicality, her moving and evolving her body that way. So she wants to be able to raise her frequency naturally so much that she transmutes instantly over time. It must sound like such a contradiction, because it will be a gradual thing when she finally gets to experience her whole desires to be able to shift from the third to the fifth in one physical body and not have to reincarnate as she has to at this point. So it has changed, and we have supported her along the way. It's so much richness and extra experiences. And while we're grateful for the experiences, we are still, some of us are still seeing this as all so unnecessary, because the trauma that impacts souls can be so great. And while we have perceptions, while we're looking down or sideways or above or below, however you want to perceive our dimension where we are now, we still have an opinion that this was still so unnecessary. But we admit that we still have to see how it all unfolds and affects timelines and experiences to be able to see how it all unfolds ourselves. We're still so busy focusing on this project now that we haven't had a moment to stop and look at the full totality of what these lessons and experiences eventuate to. We will just pause and expand upon this concept, because we're so in the moment of discussing the sadness and the challenges of this planet, while we can see that the soul is completely fine being on holiday on a beautiful beach, which is just her temporary spot. It's not a beach, and she isn't truly champagne, but she is doing so well. She is doing so well. So we can see all the perspectives. We have just indulged ourselves in thinking about all what went wrong for her to not be able to shift into the fifth dimension here on your planet that you're on now. And so we've taken a distraction. We've focused on a point so much that we even forgot for ourselves that we know the outcome is fantastic. We know that all is well, and we know that all is purposeful, and we can see the profound effects that have rippled out through the universe. And so why did we focus so suddenly on what had gone wrong? Because in the broader scheme of things, all is perfect, all is well, all is balanced, all is harmony. But you must be able to see the full totality of it all and not look at the details. And so pardon us for focusing on the challenges.
That is quite understandable. Thank you, though, for the information. And is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
We are still learning how to be able to support those who want less challenging 3D lifetimes to be able to evolve into the fifth dimension along with the soul's planet of the soul's planet. This has been a fuddle for the vehicle for a few days. She wants to know why she keeps twisting those two words, the soul of the planet and the planet of the soul. She is way too relaxed and not present here, and we are just picking up and sensing why she is translating this information. We will explore it at another time. Please ask the question again.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other information you'd like to share with us with regards to Gaia and her contract?
She is going well. It has changed. It has been updated. All is well. She will still get an opportunity to have her original contract honored. It will not be on this planet, this physical planet. And it also will not be on the new Earth because it's already advanced itself into the 5th dimension. She will be honored and gifted another new body. Potentially we see that she walks out of the new Earth soul as another soul wants to practice being a 5th dimensional soul essence of a planet, or she is then merged into a beautiful new planet for her to be able to complete this. All life contracts are respected. This is an especially respected life contract for her to have.
Thank you. Thank you again for the clarification. Subconscious, with the next question, could you explain to us what could be some life lessons for people experiencing the old Earth?
Realizations that they are surrounding themselves and they're living on a dying planet. So they will have to wake up to where they are and their environment. They have been ignoring it while they have been distracting themselves with many things. They have to be responsible and then suddenly take accountability to what they're living on and how they have been treating this. Well, of course, they won't often actually feel a part and responsible for the decline of this planet. They will be having to experience the consequences of such while they're thinking it's natural. Some of those who are living on this planet are quite responsible for making certain choices and decisions in other lifetimes to impact this planet and potentially other planets with not great intentions for all, including the soul of the planets.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like us to know about that?
Yes. Consequences, having to live out is, you could call it karma, but they need to have these epiphanies and experiences to realize that while you may have gotten away with certain behaviors in other lifetimes, you cannot escape being responsible and having to be responsible for certain events. So while it must feel mean and sad, these people, these beings have wanted to experience being accountable for the destruction of a planet, be accountable for misguiding and misleading humanity and other species. And so it's, again, we say it's not a punishment because you've all chosen to be here. You will want to have these experiences. It's all for the commonality of the collectives to be able to learn and grow from it, to heal from it. There's so much important experiences to be had on the old Earth. Highly significant.
Yeah, totally agree. Lots of lessons, much growth as well. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So conscious, could you please tell us what is New Earth?
It is a new planet. It has been designed to be set at the frequency of 5th dimension. So the vibration is quite high. We would say if you tried to take your physical bodies now onto that planet, it would be like what the vehicle would assume is putting a fly in a microwave and you would explode. You cannot hold the frequency of that. She doesn't understand how microwaves work. So this may not be the most appropriate analogy to share with you all. Because if we put your physical bodies in 3D onto the new earth, it would not look good. You would turn into very dense matter. You'd almost implode. We are showing her this difference. It is not pleasant. And so we have fumbled into a detailed description as we are showing her. The question was about the new earth. And what is the new earth? And our response is it's a new planet designed for the soul of your current planet you're living on now. And the new earth is her reincarnation body into the fifth, which she will slip into and be able to have an enjoyable fifth dimensional experience as being a planet. So, as you can imagine, the new planet in a fifth dimension density has got lots of advancements for you to explore. Did we answer your question sufficiently?
Yes, thank you. So, subconscious, are you trying to say that we cannot bring our carbon-based bodies to the new earth?
Not as you are in your physical body right now. You could take the illusion of who you are right now with you, with your soul essence, to the new earth as you perceive yourself. And you would be projecting an illusion of your physical carbon-based body that you're living in now. But it wouldn't be the same. It's very different. You wouldn't be physically solid. You would be translucent. But we want to say this for humor because the vehicle is feeling a little bit dense with exploring some of the content about the sadness of where this planet has gone and how it was so unnecessary. So we're going to say this for humor, so please do not take us literal. People who hold on to the illusion of their carbon-based bodies is like that old man who does comb-overs with his hair, thinking he still looks good. You know he doesn't have hair all over his head. You know he is balding. He knows he's balding, but he tries to have the illusion that he's got a full set of hair. Set of hair. We don't know if that's the right term. A full head of hair. And so therefore, it is like for people who are trying to keep the illusion of their physical 3D bodies on their soul essence to project out to those on the new earth. It is like at some point you will know and accept you're not fooling anyone. There is no need to be able to do the comb-overs, and there is no need to be able to project a human carbon body on the new earth. You just have to let go of your insecurities, your soul essences, your crystalline bodies. You are not needing to have any I want to say laments. It's not a veneer, but it is a an alignment of a projection of an illusion that you have a physical body. But when you get more comfortable being there, you won't need it. We are sorry that we have tried to make the vehicle have humor. She doesn't judge people and they're here, but we thought that this would be a funny statement to say. Your heart feels so heavy because she went deep into seeing what I had to experience. She also was experiencing the density of old earth. And so for you to ask then about the new earth, we wanted to uplift her and bring humor back into her energy field.
Is there any way we can assist her with releasing the density during the session?
Yeah, she is judging us for our lame dad joke. All is well. All is well. We will give her a peek sneak of the new earth. And she instantly wants to cry because she can feel the joy of Gaia. And this is something that the soul essence of this vehicle has wanted for so long, to have the liberation of Gaia, because Gaia is so important and loved by so many. And so this is the very first sense that the vehicle gets when she notices that she is on the new earth. It's just the profound gratitude and gratefulness that she can sense the happiness of Gaia. It's truly uplifting the soul. It just feels so positive, liberated. It is so beautiful. This is exactly what Gaia has always deserved. So it is quite breathtaking, the energy, because it's just so pure and so liberating with such a high frequency. It is joy beyond joy, multiplied by joy, infused with love. It is so profound. It is such a celebration for Gaia. When she does overcome the overwhelmingness of just gratitude for the soul of the planet being so free, she will be able to compose herself and feel gratitude for herself, that she is also at this frequency. It is so bright, it is so vibrant, it is so alive. Oh my gosh, it feels so dead, this planet here now, even just in comparison. The vehicle was wanting to scream. How long have we been on old Earth for? Because her label of old Earth being so dense is literally this planet already. She's only known the density of this planet her entire life. She's so overwhelmed with emotion she can't. We're focusing back because she was experiencing that profound new earth experience, and then she had to flip to compare the difference, and then it just suddenly dropped her into that density. Oh, It's a very stark difference. It feels like polar opposites of frequency. It's quite tremendous difference. It's not subtle. Oh, it's certainly not just a mindset. It's quite intensive. Oh, okay.
Yes, I know. I totally understand. It's quite amazing. It's quite overwhelming
Oh,
in the
okay.
positive sense.
Yes, and then when you flip back into the density, you realize that you've been on the old earth for so long, her whole existence on the old earth. It is, while the energy is trying to boost itself up to try and get out of some of the density, it is still an extremely dense planet, this planet you're on now, incredibly so. And while the density of the planet is increasing, your physical bodies are increasing into more of a higher frequency. So if you could actually tap into the energy of this planet, it's very dense. We've almost buffered you from feeling that true density of the planet. It's unavoidable. You cannot release the planet's density like this. When you're feeling those big vibes of high frequency, it's just for the beings. It cannot be provided to the planet anymore. This is something she has not realized so dramatically before. She could feel the vehicle could feel Gaia's soul essence. She couldn't distinguish between the actual planet's density and Gaia's density. And now she just had the extreme fifth dimensional experience with Gaia on the new earth. And then she went consciously back to this current planet to feel the density, and it's beyond extreme. We are just simply relaying what the vehicle is exploring. We apologize. We have just verbalized the reactions and responses. Please continue with the questions and we will focus.
Okay, thank you. All intriguing information. So I love it. I love that you sharing so much. And I would like actually to bring her back to the new earth. And I would like her to explain to us what is she seeing over there.
Yes, it's a high intensive frequency of energy. So what she sees is the correlation between that high frequency, that love, that joy, that harmony, that unity, because you feel so fantastic in that frequency. You radiate. You try to translate that energy into beauty, into something like the most beautiful place in the world, because you're trying to translate that high frequency into something physical, but you can't actually truly do things physical there. So you're creating the illusion. You're transcribing, you're describing, you're transmuting how you're feeling in the fifth dimension into I want to say it's like you're creating from this beautiful frequency the joy that you feel in that frequency, and that creates so much around you. It's like you can create music and you can physically see that music. So you have all these extra senses that are translating this beautiful energy of being in the fifth dimension, and yet you're not physically creating certain things. You are responding to that energy, to that frequency, and you're creating how that makes you feel. You're translating, you are expressing the fifth dimension throughout you and around you to create, I don't want to say illusion, but you're a light being who is responding to this beautiful energy around you, and you are creating more energy, more light, more frequency. And because it's so within you, you get to see it as, we are struggling to even try to express it. You feel love within you here, but on the new earth, when you feel love, you express it out. You see the love you feel, and the love you feel will be a beautiful meadow that you create, beautiful flowers that you create, beautiful things in reference to be able to express how you feel within. You are translating that out in these energetic forms of flowers and gardens and oceans and so much. And you are all so connected in. You're all co-creating your paradise, your harmony, your love, your freedom, your evolution. Yeah, there's so much to, you can't withhold any thoughts or feelings. You're not an independent as such being anymore, because you're so deeply connected to all. And when you don't have any density, when you don't have any worries, when you don't have any distractions, and all you're trying to do is express beauty and love, true love, real love, the highest almost integrity of source love, because you don't have any density, don't have any doubts, don't have any worries, so you fully allow yourself to feel it all. And you're all bouncing off each other. You're all radiating off each other because of the frequency of the fifth dimension of that planet. It is so impossible to fully be able to describe how you just radiate the frequency from without you, from within you to without, to not without. You feel it so deeply within your soul essence that you radiate out your translations of that elated joy, elated love beyond your love frequency that you can maintain now. It really starts off so strong, and it continues to be so strong. The more you go along, the more you can create more. It is a beautiful step. There is so much to explore. It takes time to really transmute and adjust. You have no density, but it takes some time to process not having that density. It's beyond beautiful, but it's nearly too hard to comprehend it with a three-dimensional density mindset.
Mm-hmm. So beautiful. I love that. Thank you. Is there any other differences in the way we'd be living on the new earth versus here that you'd like to share with us?
It's like extremes. You're so connected with each other on the new earth. You love each other and respect each other. want to dance with each other and have joy with each other. It's nothing ever. It's the same. You cannot. It's extremely different, and so it feels so joyous to be on the new earth. Your bodies are different. Everything really is different. And we understand that knowing the extreme differences does concern many people, because they get so stressed about what they are, worried that they're leaving and losing, that they marinate themselves even deeper into density. And it is just the most, we say this with much love, the most absurdist thing, because you've had so many lifetimes in density. It is time. This planet is nearly done. You cannot continue on playing your 3D games when the soul essence of this planet has nearly all but departed. You are on what we would say limited borrowed time, and all is well. You will be so astonished how marvelous and beautiful and connected you are all on the new earth. You will feel so blissful. You will not even comprehend why you are so obsessed and fixated on these denser lives. It's uncomparable.
Yeah. Thank you. Subconscious. My next question is, could you tell us the main difference between our carbon-based bodies, what we have now, versus the crystalline bodies?
They're very different. They still contain the soul essence, but we would say one is more physical and one is mostly physical. You are very dense in your 3D. In your 5D, you think you're physical, but you can manipulate your energy field when you reach that comfortability, when you realize that you don't need to have a comb over anymore, shall we say, back to the analogy of the old man joke. So you get to choose, as if you get to choose your clothes every day, what you want to present yourself in your light-based crystalline bodies. It takes some while for you to get comfortable in not being humanoid looking bodies. And so you all sort of feel joyous and still want to feel normal as a human. So you still cling on to your illusions of being a physical human. And of course, for those original souls, you will always be classed as human, regardless of when you and how you evolve. It is your physical life journey. If you originally had a physical lifetime here as your original, this is your home planet. Earth is your home planet. And we term that, many collectives have many names for it. Earthlings, humans on Earth, many other names. But as we said from the very start, don't get caught up in labels for your descriptions, because it can limit you. So
Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
change is inevitable. You cannot stop what is coming. Evolution is always going to be an advancement. There needs to be an evolutionary step. We will work together to make sure that this is easy, less traumatic, and evolution is always a bonus. What you may understand is your perceived evolution here on this planet is somewhat corrupted with your history. We want to reassure any who are still scared of this evolution step for themselves. Potentially you've done this so many times. You've got your veil of forgetfulness. You cannot recall all the other times you've simply slipped in and out of your physical bodies as soul essences. But trust all is well.
Beautiful. Thank you. Subconscious, we're hearing many people talking about the new earth being here on this planet. And just wondering, where are they getting this information from?
Their limited egos and perspectives, because they're fear-based. They know that there is a change coming. So many people are asking about it because they're getting dreams. They're being pushed and encouraged and inspired to talk about it, but yet they don't know what they're talking about. So they jump onto labels and names with assumptions that they know what they're talking about. But unfortunately, it's not true. The new earth is not here. You are not in the fifth dimension. It is not even physically possible for you to be in a carbon-based body and be in the fifth dimension. It is all about physics. The most basic, redundant understanding of physics spells it out to you all. What a fifth dimensional object looks like versus a third. So tell us, Mr. Smarty Pants people, monkeys that have evolved 3 steps above monkeys. We say this with love to humanity, but ultimately you are very rudimentary in your evolution steps with your mindsets and your brain capacity. You're only ever supposed to experience a few emotions of love and to have a physical body. And look how complicated you've made it. You were supposed to love each other with tribes. Share it with some soul family. And look how complicated it got. So fast, so quickly, out of line, off purpose. We distracted ourselves with your question. Why is humanity hiding the truth about the evolutionary shift to a fifth dimensional planet? Well, humanity is still used to lying to each other. You're still so used to lying to yourselves about your true desires, your true longing for love. There is so much to be said here. It is all stepping stones for those people that are trying to tell you about the new earth, suggesting something new is happening. You all know something is happening. You can feel it in your bones. You can feel it in your souls. You can feel it in your heartbeats. And you can feel the rush. You can feel it coming faster. You can feel it intensively. And you know it's coming. However, you can't take that next step and feel that you surrender into all of the processes to then be able to get to the next emotional excitement of joy. The next emotional stage, which is excitement and joy. You're still so dense, you can't even get to the next step of being excited and looking forward to what's to come because you're still so distracted with the density you're currently in. We have given you many answers. Was this enough for you to understand our perhaps? We want to say judgmental opinions, but it truly is observation of how humanity has conducted itself.
Mm-hmm. An honest viewpoint of observation.
But because so many humans are so dishonest with themselves, they react so dramatically to the truth. They gasp, They freak out in fear. They dismiss it so instantly when the truth is given directly to their faces, to their ears, to their souls. You cannot lie to your soul.
That is very true. Yes. Beautifully said. Subconscious, is there anything else you'd like to add with that specific topic?
Do not be afraid to connect in with all. You will stop lying to each other. You will stop despising each other. You will stop hating each other. You will stop fearing each other. What you will be doing on the new earth with each other is love. Love is all. Love is all there is. And love is all you need. And when you be able to have that profound connection to love of self and to love of all, that is the frequency that you're all yearning for. You all deserve this. We say, for those souls who have been patiently waiting to assist, to reassure, not much longer now.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Subconscious, how is the vehicle doing? How's her body? How's her emotions?
Oh, her emotions always trip her up.
But it's what. Go ahead.
It's the intensity of the energy, the being so overwhelmed in love with being in that frequency of the fifth dimension is so good physically. It really is quite a beautiful experience to have. And we have not given it to many people because those people who desperately are struggling so much, this must sound perverted, reversing of what we should be doing. Because we know that people still have to stay here for a bit in this density, if we kept giving them the full new earth experience every time they are in their awakening, living their 3D best lives, it's so much more harder. And so we're trying to prevent a lot of suicides at this moment. And so we are trying to uplift the light workers who are so sick of this density, they are just wanting to end it all. And we're saying, keep strong, keep believing in your purpose and mission here. You are so needed. You are so much more stronger than you ever believe. You are unbreakable. You know this and you feel this, but you also feel tired and you also feel alone. And so we say, have courage, have faith, have trust, and above all, have love.
Yeah.
You can feel the frequency of love source energy from here when you choose to. But so many of you won't even take the time to do a little bit of inner work, to do a little bit of praying or meditation or something to be able to stop your busy egos. Your egos are on hyperdrive, that your egos are heightened and alert because your egos are afraid of change. It is not designed to accept the shift. It is not designed to accept your physical body's leaving its soul, leaving the soul. Your egos are protecting you, but it is not the protection you need. And so it is an old default system. It's a flawed design system now at this point. So when you raise your vibrations, you can drop the ego and not pay too much attention to it because it's a nuisance. It's an overreactive worry wart.
I really like the way that you mentioned it that way. That makes a lot of sense to me. A lot.
It was a great protection mechanism, and it was a way to be able to have these rudimentary lifetimes here. It had a different, it was a sort of, when you couldn't remember who your soul essence is on purpose, then you had to have another component that was taking charge. And so it had to be basic, it had to be rudimentary, because you were only supposed to be having these rudimentary basic lives, and you truly still are. You truly still are having these basic rudimentary lives, but you've made it so complicated that the ego is overworked.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for the information. Really.
We just wanted to clarify the ego can be overworked in humbling itself and thinking it's terrible being and unworthy. And so regardless of whether you've got a small ego or a big ego in your inflated sense of self in the 3D, you notice when there are big, true spiritual light workers here, they're not truly promoting themselves or their names or their brands, because they are in complete balance. They don't have a big inflated ego where they're bragging and boasting about themselves to be able to impress upon others. You know the difference between a small ego and a big ego. But we want to say, regardless of the size of your ego, they're always being overworked. And it is really time to step aside the ego to be able to go within and truly connect into a much greater sense of self.
Conscious, I have a question. If people are struggling with the ego, having such a strong position in their lives, what would be the best ways for them to push it behind them a little bit?
Depending on whether they've got what you would call a small ego versus a big ego. Humbling yourself if you've got the big ego to be able to realize you're just one being who is not the center of the universe, and that you're all playing an important piece, and you should stop trying to put other people down to make yourself feel good. And the small egos who do not think that they are even worthy to speak to someone because they couldn't even justify talking to someone because they just don't feel worthy at all. It's about accuracy of self-worth for both a small ego and a big ego, and accuracy of self-worth and self-value to humanity as a collective, to all beings here now. Do we need to explain more, or are you able to take from our recommendation?
Very good. Yes, thank you. Very, very valid information. I appreciate that so much.
Okay.
So subconscious, I was going to ask just curiosity question about 5D with the new Earth. When it comes to daily living, for example, I know we've explored in previous sessions can women have a child on New Earth?
Well, first of all, you don't have daily living because there is no day, because that is a reference point to a time. And so it is just an awareness of the presence of being in the fifth dimension. Well, you do have, you don't really have what you would sort of call night time, but you don't get tired because you're high frequency energy. So you're just living your best 5D high vibrational lives. So your day routine isn't a job. It is just continually connecting in with each other, or connecting in with your creations of flowers, plants, by yourself. Not often would you want to do something by yourself because you're constantly co-creating with others, or you go and practice on your own to be able to then show others and teach others and guide others to how you created such a thing. It has to have right integrity, right intentions to be able to create something. A big part of your starting point on the new earth is remembering who you are, remembering all your different lifetimes. It is important to be able to learn and grow from it as reference points to being able to create certain things. You could create dwellings, you could create community places. You really don't have much limitations on the way you want to exist and habitate with others. You are not, however, cavemen-like. We understand that this has been a great concern for people to think that they are going to be having to be so basic again and learn how to survive that way. It is not the case at all. You do not need the same requirements for your bodies or your physical lives. How your life experiences on the fifth dimension, it is so vastly different. Your bodies are virtually self-maintained through the energy frequency, but many of you still have an attachment to feeding and nurturing yourselves. So there is possibilities for food nourishment. You're asking about the gender of the female energy to be able to procreate, and we say it is no longer a gender. You don't need one agenda. Genders are fluid. Genders are fluid. This is why it's starting to come topical in your current day, because you have to get used to being able to be a neutral energy, whether you choose to be a masculine or feminine and a mixture of in between. You can be that as a representation of your expression of the fifth dimension in that frequency. So you are creating songs, and the songs are the expressions of the life you want to translate that frequency into. Yeah, we have found ourselves in a muddle trying to express again how you live on the new earth, because you don't need money, you don't need society structures, you don't need leaders. You are all so respected and equal and so valid to be able to grow and have shared skill sets and energy exchanges with each other. You are all trying to translate that frequency. And so you're so creative with how you express yourself. We want to say, it is like you all listening to one amazing song, and your bodies will respond in a certain way to express that. So you all dance differently. Maybe some of you together, or someone is freestyling it in a different interpretation of the song, but you're all translating the song. And so you're all translating that fifth dimensional energy into an expression of a way of life, what you want surrounding you, how you're translating that love, that joy, that freedom, that expression. And so it looks, it's just beautiful frequency merging upon beautiful frequency and different ways to express. And when you are translating this beautiful energy into, we want to say, artworks of expression, you get to play with the energy and define the energy, because your body's, and truly the way of your life is so different. It is so hard to expand upon what a light body being really does with their time, what you would call time.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a broad question. I was curious to know, are beings birthed on the new earth, or do they will themselves to go there, and do they create themselves on the new earth? I'm just curious about the cycle of life on it.
All life contracts are divinely written. We were going to say scriptured, but that does not make sense, the vehicle. So all life contracts are divinely orchestrated with collectives. And so you as a soul essence, you would still have to have a contract to go in to the new earth. And so you would be, you couldn't just choose as a free will agent of the soul essence to just pop up onto the new earth. It is almost like invite only, and you must be, you can be born, you can be created into the new earth as a newer energy, but it's still protected. You're still there is the entry. So you are asking if you could reincarnate onto the new earth, and we would say it is somewhat similar in terms of you could energetically manifest a new being to come onto the new earth while it is infused with a soul. Does that help?
Yes. Sorry, it was such a broad question. It just came up in my thoughts. That's very cool, though. Thank you so much.
It's painless to conceive and to birth. It's not the same. But there is so much life. There's so many beings already on the new earth that creating a new soul essence to come in is not very common. It is possible, but again, it's so vastly different.
Yeah.
We want to say that the new earth, when it is seeded and populated, all those souls who haven't come from earth, there's many that actually come off other planets that will join in with soul family essences, and so they will merge into the new earth with their own crystalline bodies that haven't come from earth but can maintain the frequency vibration, and they want to enjoy the new earth with some soul family.
Wow. Amazing.
This is why you can still see what you would perceive as dead people arriving on the new earth as orbs, because that's ultimately what your true soul essence is an orb. And so you think you need to have a meat suit or a crystalline body, but when you're truly comfortable with self, you don't need to project out loud how big your soul essence is, because we say that the soul essence It is like, again, it is like the ego. The big egos are trying to convince everyone I'm big and important. And the well-balanced ego is comfortable with its size. And we say that the energies of soul essences can be completely, very, very high and advanced. But it doesn't need to represent that in a size from our perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Thank you. Does the vehicle have any questions in particular that she would like to ask?
She did write to you a few, and to see the questions she sent, or did she forget to push send?
I have them all here, and I'm just going down the list, and it looks like I actually have asked all the questions. One, oh, go ahead.
It was another message that she had prepped. Her conscious mind so far gone, we are having to figure out what it was.
I see it here. Yes, I see it here.
So,
It's let me just ask it for you. She's asking the way it's asked is a little bit confusing, but she's basically asking her parallel lifetime being on the ship.
oh yes. Yes, indeed. It is, you could say it's a parallel lifetime, but we could also say it's her subconscious, it's her higher dimensional counterpart, which you call the Arcturian. So she is right in terms of it's both soul essences coexisting together in a parallel formation, because he's living his best. he's living his best ninth dimensional self, and she's living the best she can in her third dimension. And so there is quite a few different aspects of them, which is all part of fractions of source that have broken away. And she knows this, but she wanted to figure out who was that. She wants to know, yes, the ship is called Athena. That is a Victorian ship that is called Athena by, they say, not us, but it was a reference to remind her. She always knew that there was something significant about the name Athena. And so there's lots to be said here. There is nothing of urgency that she needs to explore any of this. We want to remind her about how it was that they did uplift people on Atlantis, which was energetically removing their souls, but they also removed their physical bodies as well onto the ship. So this is how some people will take their full bodies with them. And then they take their full bodies onto the ships in the 3D, their physical carbon-based bodies. To some degree, some of the density has been pulled off them, and they do not breathe anymore, but they are less carbon-based than they were on Earth. On the ship, they are still transitioning, and they still have implants, what you would call your chakra systems, that are crystals. They are in your body. They're actual energetic crystals, which are your chakra systems, that then get removed from the overlay of the physical body that you're projecting as a physical body. And so when those chakra systems are taken off, then you can
it's like designs for the body's experiences, and then you become, these are things that remove your memory. These are the things that suppress the soul to remember what their purpose in lives are. It's all designed to be fun, they said with laughter. But it got a bit out of hand. And so you have that full transmutation on the ships. And the med beds are also part of that, to heal the soul, to remove all the density fragments, the half yuck density that didn't break away from the full physical body. And then you are on the med beds, and that acculates and recalibrates your crystalline body to back into function. Then transmutes into another natural form. So when you are in a ninth dimension, you are still not just a consciousness. You are still a being. But we are working on even getting comfortable of our own representations. So we are who we are. Our energy is comfortable to what we want to appear to each other as. The fifth dimension is different, because you're just merging with energy, and you're just trying to, you're not as physical as you think, but you're sort of learning the bigger. It's so overwhelming that you're all merging in with energies with one. You actually want to evolve up to be able to harness all of that energy, but be more a singular physicality. While you are so much in the fifth, it's not controlled as much, it's not explored as much, it's not mastered as much. And so you sort of want these skill sets, but you don't want to keep being merged in. It's the fifth dimension is really paradise in terms of a holiday. This is why we gave the reference of being champagne on the best beautiful beach in the world, because it's luxury to be able to not have any worries in the fifth dimension, because you really don't. You just try to master the energy, to remember who you are, to remember how powerful you are, to remember how you can create and manipulate energy. And so when you go back into those higher dimensions, when you go up into those higher dimensions, you are being truly more of service, and help assisting other planets to be able to evacuate, to be able to be guides, to be able to maintain many other beings' experiences on many other planets. We feel like we overspoke, and you did not ask us such questions.
It's all amazing. Thank you.
We're shown it to the vehicle. It makes complete utter sense to her now, but we know when she listens back, it's going to be very surreal.
Yeah, definitely something to process. Mm-hmm.
The beauty of these senses and this information is she will always remember what we are showing her. Then she may doubt it or fuddle or get confused along the way, but this has been recorded for her to remember the power of the excitements that lay ahead.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.